Hey, hey. Hi, guys. All right, Saggies, let's take a look at what's been murky but is becoming more clear. Oh, stardust, very nice. The energy of stardust is magic. It is also the awareness that, we fall from the stars onto this beautiful planet. We are both terrestrial and cosmic, I'll say. All of the terrestrial elements here on Earth are made in the stars. So we literally, through spectrometry, have been able to identify that. And so we've got a really nice vibe here of something special. I feel like particularly this is the magic. Um, I don't know if somebody actually has really great dreams at night that maybe they astral travel at night, maybe they have prophetic dreams at night, but I definitely feel like there's something magical at night. The Sag could work at night as well. They could have great ideas that come to them at night. They work a night shift some days of the week. Page of Wands, the magic fairy dust here. This is about wishes. This is about my wishes are coming true, but it's not just like they're magically coming true. It's because I think Sag makes things come true. I'm trying to think who it was. I believe it's Leo that had like a really super powerful, um, like hidden manifestation, superpower type of message. And I'm kind of getting a little bit of that same vibe here, Sag. With that Page of Wands being upright here, this is somebody who's got the spark of an idea, and that might be their divine inspiration, and that might be part of that magical stardust. Sag can do things nobody else can do. They can see things other people won't see. They can see opportunities that wouldn't be there for everybody else because people don't look. No two people interpret a scenario the same way. No two people look at like I'm always surprised. I love thrift shopping. If I go to the thrift store, I will find amazing things that nobody else wanted to buy. And I always go, how could they not have wanted this? Now I realize it's probably because I have very funky taste. But my point is, some people go looking for name brands. I do not. I go looking for the thing that doesn't look like anything else. Thing that stands out to just my crazy eyeballs. And I feel like everything, we all have a different lens. We all have a different purpose. We all have a different taste. And so the opportunities or the spark of an idea that comes to Sagittarius is probably going to be they can see it, but nobody else can see it. And it's just because we all have our different lens and we're all drawn to different things. But we also all have our own different, like, divine inspiration. Let me change decks real quick because I'm feeling like we may have. No, have I done it again? There's this one deck that I keep losing all the time, and then I find it as soon as I'm not looking for it. This is not it. Let me get that out of the way because I always think that's it, and it's not. Hang on, just there. Oh, it was right in front of it. I was going to say, I know it's in a place that I've seen like 10 times. Akashic Records and Astral Travels. Okay, so I was going to say, because it seems like we're dealing with a very gifted and kind of nuanced and spiritual Sagittarius, I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit. And sure enough, the Akashic Records, you're being called to explore the Akashic Records to provide powerful insights and guidance. And Astral Travel says you're being called to communicate with spirits, entities, and guides in the astral realms to retrieve and share this message. To me, if I look at the Akashic Records, the way I understand it, which is to my limited knowledge, it is the concept that everything any person could do, has done, will do, has already been recorded. And it's like it's already in these different volumes of the book of Sagi's life. And all we must do if we want to change our timeline and do things different is imagine taking a book off a shelf and saying, this is my new book of life. So we can jump timelines, we can change, our outcomes can be different. At any given time, this is why, we can become, let's use this as an extreme example. Somebody who trains to become an Olympic athlete. They're the best of the best. And then they retire and they shift gears and they become a lawyer. And then after a chunk of time at that, they say, I'm done being a lawyer. I actually want to, let's say, completely change and write cookbooks for a living. And this is a passion and a hobby of mine, or I want to go into jewelry making and sell it at a local market. And it's like, wait a second, weren't you a famous athlete? Yeah. And then you went to law school and you were a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And now you like to be at a little market where you sell your handmade jewels. Yes, because I'm all three of those people and I wanted to explore all three of those lives. That is why we can do that, is because we're not just on a path. Our whole life is the path. But if we look at our life as many volumes of a book, we can pick a different volume. And I'm wondering if that is the inspiration here, and if that is what Sag has understood. And perhaps through that dream state, we already talked about the astral travels, and now that card comes up. I'm wondering if Sag is like aware that that's what they do when they astral travel. Maybe they explore in their mind what a different timeline would look like. And then morning comes and they go, you know what? I just decided I have this inspiration to go. I don't know, that this bear sticker always reminds me of like Pacific Northwest. We have like a lantern sticker that reminds me of like somebody that goes camping like up in the Canadian wilderness. We've got a camera here. I'm just wondering if she's like, but she's dressed nice. Like, I have these different ideas of what I want my life to be. I can live in a high rise in whatever, Paris or New York City, and wear adorable sundresses. But I also have this, I've been dreaming of taking this trip into the Canadian wilderness and photographing. I think I'm going to go do that. It just feels like right now, Sag has these they're very tapped into their own Akashic records and what their life can be. And they're already testing it out through like the astral realm. Would I want to do this? Would I want to do that? Well, they got a spark of something that is unique for them. Five of Swords. That Five of Swords says somebody's not going to be happy. If Sag is about to make a big life change, oh God, High Priestess. This definitely feels kind of like the Leo video. The Leo story that got the High Priestess as well. This is different, but there's elements here that make me think of that. It feels like Sag is aware that if they go ahead and explore changing something in their life, this could be them telling a landlord, a roommate, hey, listen, I'm actually going to be moving. I've got this idea. I've got to go try X, Y, or Z. I've got to go up to the Canadian wilderness. I have to. I'm called there. Somebody could be like, what are you doing? Why do you get to leave? And it kind of feels like it's going to be hard for Sag to explain. It's like, because I must. You don't understand. There's something here. It's one of my wishes come true. It's one of my other timelines that I can live. I keep feeling like there is a friend who's going to be half mad, half sad that Sag is going to be leaving. But I think it's because they've been using Sag as a sponge to help themselves to heal. Now, this could be a lover as much as it is, a friend or something. But it feels as if I'm not saying that they were necessarily intending to sponge off of Sag's energy, but if Sag has some magical stardust, I could understand that their energy could be very soothing for others. And it could even be that one of the reasons Sag is being called through the dream state first to like, hey, go and explore some of your other like timelines. It might be because somebody needs Sag to wean themselves off. Like Sag needs to take their energy away so this person can kind of quit being propped up by Sag, and they'll have to kind of stand on their own 2 feet a little bit. It keeps feeling like this is a very specific message. Like if Sag has been a roommate or a neighbor or somebody who's been really closely associated with an individual in life, and they're like, hey, listen, I got to tell you, I'm going to be gone. I might be moving, or I'm going to be gone next weekend, or I'm going to be no longer doing some of the activities we used to do together because I need my free time back because I got to go do this photography. And it's like, you're not even a photographer. Well, but see, I've dreamt that I have to do this and I really want to. It's something I need to explore. I've been called to this for a while and it's calling me away from interacting with you. and you're pissed that I'm taking my energy away from you. But I think Sag is going to recognize, again, in that high priestessy way, I realize they were using me as a crutch. I realize this, maybe in my subconscious, I've known it too. Maybe I've needed to go ahead and remove myself a little bit, so I'm not always propping somebody up. I think in the most gentle of ways, this person has to stand on their own 2 feet while Sag withdraws their energy and Sag puts their energy into their own life again. I wonder if Sag was giving too much. That's what this storyline looks like. This is what's being subtly, look at the backdrop behind us, right? It's all foggy and misty, but then the mist is lifting. We can see, oh, we're looking at a forest. It's like things are taking more shape in that murky world where it's like, I get it. One of the reasons I'm supposed to withdraw a little is not just for my own, magical stardust ideas about the things that I want to do in my life and my own different timelines. It's also so that my time of giving a ton to somebody else is withdrawn in a gentle and natural way so that they can go ahead and realize that they can stand on their own. This could be like a parental figure who's had, an adult kid living with them, and Sag is like, well, hon, I'm going to be moving. I've decided I'm going to move. We've been living together, whatever, but you got your job, you got your stuff, you got your life. I'm going to live someplace else. And this could be like an adult kid going, well, the truth is I was latched on to my parental figure, but yes, I can, you're right. I am all right. I am healed. I can stand on my own 2 feet. Yes, I have been maybe like taking a little bit of advantage. Yeah, we got the Nurturer of Swords and the Three of Swords. It is a bit of like, I know that Sag is not withdrawing energy from me to hurt me, but it still sucks. Like, that's what this feels like. I think Sag is saying, but what also is at risk is that my own energies, if I don't withdraw and go after some things that I want to, then I will be the one with the heartbreak. This could be the ending of a relationship as well, where maybe Sag was in a relationship with somebody who, had some struggles, and Sag was like really propping them up, really supporting them, like you had a rough run of things. You've been trying to tidy up your life. Meanwhile, I've been the one, carrying you a bit, holding you up, but I know you're strong and I know you've got this. It does feel a little bit like, I think Sag is saying, I hope they don't think that I'm abandoning them. It's not what it is. Even like they always say, if you see a baby deer out in the woods, do not go and approach it. Don't be the good Samaritan who thinks you're going to go rescue the baby deer. The moms leave the babies on their own a little bit so they can get their bearings. It's an important part of their like little training. But if humans come along and scoop them up and take them away, that mom can't find her baby then. So it's like, respect other people's processes a little bit too. I get that vibe, like mama deer vibe. Like, it's time that I withdraw and let my wobbly little deer baby, stand on their own 2 feet a bit. 10 of Wands, we do have a parent-child relationship, even if this was not parent-child, even if it was, I'm not saying that a romance is like, wow, I feel like they're a parent and I have to take care of them. I'm just saying that there is an element of like guilt being overcome and trusting that, look, it's not me being unkind to have been nurturing, but then also at some point withdraw and let somebody, take the reins back for their own life. And that's not something that I'm doing to be mean. But yes, there could have been some dynamic about whoever was in the more powerful position, which was Sag, obviously, in this. They're also understanding that powerful, compassionate energy and stardust energy that they do possess is like a healing, nurturing energy. And who wouldn't want to be basked in that? But at the same time, Sag has other journeys still to take. They have more timelines to explore. They have other places to live and other, adventures to have. And so it's time that they get back onto their pathway, their journey. It does feel like Sag is, I'm kind of inclined to say this feels more like releasing a relationship so that Sag can continue on their journey. But I think it was a relationship that felt more like I said, like Sag was a real support network to them at a time when they needed it. It could have been a lover, but also there was a significant amount of like, I give you my assistance and support. We've got this Four of Swords. I kind of think as Sag does move on from this, I think they're going to recognize they've been pretty exhausted because I think they gave a lot of themselves to help another person on their component of a journey. But this is Sag, I think, being able to, gently address all of this and then get back on their own path. Let me just see. What does Saggy's path look like? Where are they headed now? Wheel of Fortune. Sag did just enough good work to help somebody without like letting it become a toxic, like, oh my God, I just give and give and give, and I'm over giving now or enabling. Spirit of Cups is the Queen of Cups. I think I keep feeling like this is a Sag who's got an adventure ahead of them. They're going to travel somewhere. They're going to take a Caribbean vacation. They're going to do some snorkeling. They're going to do some photography. They're going to go out and see Stonehenge. They're going to go out and see some sights. They're going to, it is like kicking up their feet and doing something fun, but going someplace that they feel called to go. Whether it's to move or whether it's to take a solo vacation or whether it's to let go of a relationship and then just get back to their own adventures. Any of those can be the way we would interpret this story, but the message is still overarching the same. It's Sag is back on their path, and their path is going to be blossoming because they did a lot of good works for somebody. They were very kind. They were very helpful to somebody. So definitely looks beautiful here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.